is Valley News Live at 4.
Breaking news this afternoon, a man has been arrested in connection to an early morning stabbing of a 14-year-old. Police say 23-year-old Arthur Prince Colley, with no permanent address, has been arrested for attempted murder. Fargo police say the stabbing happened around 7 this morning near Party City off of 13th Avenue South. The victim was rushed to the hospital and is now in stable condition. Police are asking anyone with information to contact them. Just like our First Alert storm team told you, it is extremely hot out there. Look at those temperatures. The bank signs are showing there in Fargo triple digits. But temperatures aren't the only weather danger we need to be aware of this weekend. Let's head straight to meteorologist Nathan Hopper with a first look. Nathan?
Yeah, Stacy, it is hot out there. And of course, we have that first weather day for today and for tomorrow for continued triple-digit temperatures into tomorrow as well. But as you were saying, we could see some storms, and some of those could be on the strong to possibly severe side both tonight and tomorrow night. But of course, we'll talk about the heat that so many folks are sending pictures of, their car thermometers and everything. So the old record in Fargo, 95 degrees. The old record, Grand Forks Airport, 95 degrees. Both of those blown out of the water, absolutely demolished those temperatures, those record temperatures today. And the last time we saw a temperature that had 3 numbers with it at Hector National Airport, July 20th, 2012, and the Weather Service in Grand Forks, 1989, the last time we saw triple-digit temperatures. So there's the current temperatures. As I said, the old record, 95 degrees in both Fargo and Grand Forks. We're at 100 right now in Fargo, 101 Grand Forks, 102 in Devil's Lake. The record in Jamestown also absolutely shattered this afternoon. So that dangerous heat does continue for this afternoon, and it continues into the evening as well with very mild temperatures. And with these mild temperatures, some humidity, we are seeing some storms developing along a little boundary in the northern valley, mainly along and north of Highway 2 is where we're seeing those showers and storms popping up. And you can see these aren't too organized at this point, maybe a brief heavy downpour with some lightning and thunder with these. But Stacy, that chance of storms does continue tonight, and tonight we could see some of those storms possibly become severe, so we'll talk about that in more detail in a couple minutes.
All right, thanks so much, Nathan. The National Weather Service has now issued a fire weather watch and a red flag warning for much of Minnesota. Becker and Clay counties are among those impacted. Officials with the Minnesota DNR say any fires that do start will likely spread quickly, and any burning done recently should be double checked to make sure all flames and embers are extinguished. A plea this afternoon from police: if you know anything about an arson in Audubon earlier this week, contact them right away. It happened just after 11 Tuesday night. Firefighters were called to 320 Eagle Street for a report of a structure fire. Fire crews say the upstairs bedrooms of the home were filled with flames. Everyone inside was able to get out, but one dog did pass away. If you have any information regarding this case, you're asked to call the Becker County Sheriff's Office at the number on your screen, 218-847-2661. A jury trial is now set for a Moorhead man accused of spray painting hate messages on the Moorhead Fargo Islamic Center in Moorhead. Benjamin Enderle's trial is scheduled to start on July 20th. The 22-year-old is charged with felony harassment and criminal property damage. Court documents say Enderle admitted to police that he spray painted the mosque in Moorhead, but says he did it as a joke. Death to Islam is one of the messages found on the building's exterior. If convicted, Enderle faces up to 5 years in prison. 2 people are dead after an apparent shooting in Wahpeton early this morning. Police say they responded to a home on the city's north side around 2:30 after a woman reported that a man threatened her with a gun. Officers say when they were trying to make contact with the people involved, they heard a gunshot from inside the home. A man and woman were found dead inside. Police are still investigating. A Mapleton man will serve prison time for tax fraud. 43-year-old Benjamin Boway has been sentenced to serve 18 months in federal prison for aiding in preparation of false tax returns. Investigators say between 2015 and 2018, Boway, who was the owner of Benny Tax Services, prepared returns on behalf of clients knowing they were false and fraudulent to claim credits and deductions. The tax loss attributable to Boway's fraudulent conduct was more than $134,000. President Biden touts the May jobs report, claiming it's evidence America's recovery is on a strong track. The economy added 559,000 jobs last month, which doubled April's disappointing total, and unemployment dropped to 5.8%. The president says no other major economy is recovering from the pandemic as robustly as the U.S., but he acknowledged there will be setbacks and America faces challenges in supply chains and rising prices. President Biden pointed to the boost provided by the American Rescue Plan as evidence his policies are working.
And none of this success is an accident. It isn't luck. It's due in no small part, first of all, the cooperation of the American people in responding to my effort to get COVID under control, wearing masks initially and getting vaccinated. And it's no small part to the bold action we took by passing the American Rescue Plan.
More than 20 million Americans have been vaccinated since the May jobs data was collected, providing hope future numbers will strengthen. It'll be quite a while longer before you see former President Donald Trump on social media. Today, Facebook announced it may allow the former president's Facebook and Instagram accounts to be reinstated in January 2023. This 2-year suspension will prevent him from using the platforms to broadcast to his followers until after the 2022 midterm elections. At that time, the social media company says they'll reevaluate whether the risk to public safety has receded. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is apologizing to Indigenous Canadians after the remains of more than 200 children were found last week. Some were as young as 3. Many gathered this week to honor the lives lost. As Jerica Duncan reports, the remains were discovered at what was once Canada's largest residential school for Indigenous children.
Sometimes kids would not show up in classroom. They would disappear for the next day, and we knew that they were gone, but we didn't know where they were gone.
Gary Gottfriedson is a survivor of the Kamloops Indian Residential School. He's among the thousands of Indigenous peoples legally mandated by the Canadian government to attend such institutions. They were set up in the late 1800s and often operated by the Catholic Church. The last one closed in 1997. University of Alberta professor Crystal Gale Fraser says abuse was rampant.
The whole point was to erase their Indigenous identities. These Indian residential schools have often been compared to prisons.
We were never allowed to speak our languages in there because of fear of punishment. So those of us that were little were absolutely terrified.
A Truth and Reconciliation Commission was formed to investigate abuse at the Indian residential schools. In 2015, it issued a report saying the government committed cultural genocide. At least 4,000 students died at these schools, some of disease, neglect, accidents, or abuse. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
Saying sorry for the tragedies of the past is not enough. It is not enough for the children who died, for the families, or for the survivors and communities.
The heinous discovery happened after one of the Canadian First Nations used radar technology on the ground near the school.
Indigenous communities and families have been saying these things for decades, often not notified of deaths. Their children never return home, unable to get any sorts of answers.
In a statement that First Nations chief wrote, the true accounting of the missing students will hopefully bring some peace and closure to those lives lost. As for Gottfriedson, he's still haunted by the memories.
We were made to feel ugly because we were told we were ugly. We were made to feel like we were nothing but dirt. And that has remained with me to this very, very day. It's I've never felt that I was good enough for anything.
The Canadian government has paid more than $1.6 billion to survivors of these schools. The 2015 commission recommended 94 calls to action to help the country address its past treatment of Indigenous children. Indigenous communities are calling for other school sites to also be searched for the remains of school children. Nearly 60 people, including 29 first-time blood donors, stepped up to help the Fargo Police and Fire Departments this week as they competed to recruit the most blood donors for the American Red Cross. All who came to donate at Battle of the Badges this week cast a vote for police or firefighters. 53 units of blood was collected. The police department got 30 votes. The fire department got 29. If you weren't able to attend, the Red Cross is encouraging you to make an appointment to give blood to ensure a stable blood supply throughout the summer. Head to redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS to schedule an appointment. The community of Ada, Minnesota is honoring fallen officer Cody Holte this weekend and raising money for local students. It's the first annual Cody Holte Co-ed softball tournament. The tournament starts at 8 tomorrow morning. There are special medals for the winning team. T-shirts are available in the Grand Forks Police Department signed softballs for the first pitch of each game. There's also a silent auction at Main Street Bar. Proceeds will go to scholarships for students studying criminal justice or entering the military. And the North Dakota Game and Fish Department is welcoming anglers to the water this weekend for free. Anyone can toss a line in North Dakota's public waters this weekend without a license. The goal is to get people who are new to fishing to give it a try. Other state fishing regulations like harvesting limits and bait restrictions still apply. Coming up, a dog you've got to see to believe and why he's going viral on TikTok.
The earliest in the season we've ever seen a 100-degree day was April 21st of 1980, making today the second earliest 100-degree temperature we've gotten in both Fargo and in Grand Forks. And Fargo, warmer than areas like Amarillo, Waco, New Orleans, Little Rock, Sarasota, Richmond, hotter than pretty much everybody, but more hot tomorrow. I'll have your forecast next.